Yo guys, what is going on? Coach Jason here. As you can probably tell by my voice, I am sick. I woke up about 30 minutes ago, but I really needed to record an intro and an outro for the video, so just bear with me at the end as well. Just a quick heads up, this is part 1 out of a 4-video series about my map tier list in Overwatch. Now, you might be wondering why I'm doing that. Well, it's because I deep dive into a lot of the maps, not every map, but a lot of the maps. And I also wanted to edit a lot and have some humor video, so that's why it's been taking so long to produce. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The video will start with me quickly going over the heroes that I usually play, because it plays a big role in why I've ranked some maps higher or lower than maybe they deserve. These tier lists will basically be a mix of what I consider great maps macro-wise, and also maps that I really enjoy playing for the heroes that I play on the map, and just some cheesy strats here and there. So a bunch of biased opinions here and there. See you at the end. Bye. Actually, I'm gonna go through quickly the heroes that I play most of the time. So on tank, it's Ball, Rhine, Orisa, Hazard, and sometimes I would say Ramatra. I also play Winston, but it's more map dependent with him. But the thing with Ramatra is, like, you know, if I have to, I can play him, but I don't enjoy him that much. DPS, I like playing faster characters most of the times that are good at controlling close range space. So Venture is probably my best DPS at the moment. And I like playing Reaper. I like playing Mei. Everybody's like, the bot heroes! Yes, I know, I have shit mechanics, forgive me. I like playing Sim and Thor because they're gimmick as well, they're fun. I can play Soldier if I need to play a hit scan. And in the support category, I have Lucio. Now it's Mitsuki as well, Wu Yang, Ana Sen as well on a bit longer range maps, or maps where I can utilize the longer range. Yo guys, Coach Jason here. As promised from the latest video, map tier list. Here it goes. Right, we're going to jump into it immediately because I want to have as unfiltered thoughts and opinions as possible. But remember, these are opinions and thoughts in my head that does not align with everyone on this planet. So if you have any disagreements, leave them in the comments, but do not call me slurs, because I will call you a slur back. Okay, let's go. So, S tier, either fundamental masterpieces or really fun. So basically, how much fun I have on a map combined, or either a map that I find that is kind of a fundamental masterpiece. You know, a map can be a fundamental masterpiece, but I can still hate playing the shit out of it. Like, it can still be awful and I will not have a good time. However, I find the map a fundamental masterpiece. But here's the thing. If the map is a fundamental masterpiece, and me, as a person that loves the macro of the game, lane theories and all that, I love maps that are like that. So there will not be a single map in S tier that I do not enjoy playing. However, there might be a map in A tier that I find more fun for the characters that I play to play on than a map in S tier, but I have to admit that that map fundamentally is better, and that's why I put it higher. So I want everybody to know that first, before there are any confusions. Either way, that is S tier, right? So A tier, great maps. They are either fun or they are just great maps, like structure-wise. The fundamentals flow, lane theory works, all that crap. Well, it's not crap, it's actually really good for you and you should study it too. Either way, B, good maps, I like. It's just, you know, I like these maps. They're good. Nothing more to say. C tier, I can play them, but I'd rather not. So these are the type of maps that are worse than the good maps. And the great maps, and of course the S tier maps. But they are definitely better than some of the more shittier ones. We will go into that tier later, but that should be an optimal explanation there. D, usually the best out of 3 dog water maps. So you know when Overwatch just gives you the jackpot, they just give you your three favorite maps in one selection screen or map voting screen, and you go like, oh, I wish those were spread out so I could play them, you know, back to back to back, but they're on the same. These maps in D tier are the best out of the three dog shit options that you have when you just have the worst luck out of all the map selections. So the other maps are horrible. This one is not good either, but it's the best out of the awful maps that you can pick between. And F tier, they're just bad. Just bad maps. And I can go into it deeper when we get there, but these maps, I just try to avoid them the best I can. If Satan was a Blizzard dev and wanted to create a map, we will get to that later. Or I might just do a time skip and then you'll see a map that is going to be placed around here. And then I'm not going to have any context for it before the end of the video. Okay, those are the tiers. So let's go and jump right into this. I will start with KOTH maps. And the thing with the KOTH maps is I will go over each point that you can play on and not just, you know, the map as a whole. So for example, for Legion Tower, I will go over Garden, I will go over Control Center, and I will go over Night Market. Same with all the other KOTH maps. KOTH is King of the Hill, by the way. It's just, you know, short it out. I don't know if everyone knows about it, but I'm just explaining it now so people can, you know, not be confused. Okay, so let's go. We can start with the map that is banned currently. Or not banned, but removed from the map pool entirely. Because they're actually getting a rework. Which I think is perfect. Especially for this awful ass point. Sub-level. Antarctica Peninsula. Antarctica Peninsula is the map. The point is sub-level. Sub-level is horrible. I wish I could jump into it and watch it, because I will do that with other maps and show you around the map just to show how shit they are. But we'll start with this so I don't have to. You can see here, because I'm gonna zoom in the video, you know, editor Jason, just a note, zoom in here. You see this high ground, the bridge here. On this side is where 90% of the fights take place. And it's just awful. A map where 90% of the fights are happening at the same place every single time. That is just not good map design. And also, on this side, opposite side of the bridge, there is like a jump pad, there is like health packs, like kind of a flanker route, but it doesn't lead anywhere. And then there's a glass that looks over the point, but you can't shoot through it or break it. And it's just there so you can watch the point like a fucking stalker watching their ex-girlfriend through the window, even though they broke up 2 years ago and just can't get over it. It's just horrible. It's so bad. I swear to God. Just like Spilo said to Colosseo to remove the glass in the middle of the point, goddamn, if they do not remove this glass or rework that side of the map, I am going to be furious with Overwatch. F tier. Just bad. Just awful. Next point. This one. Icebreaker. Sorry, it's a bit small for me. I will zoom in so you guys can maybe see. It's definitely better than sub-level. I'll give them that. But I don't like this point either. I don't think it's quite F tier. I will put it in D tier. You have two routes. It's just that it's pretty close to get into both. Pretty tiny chokes. And also, the mega that is on the other side of the nose of the ship is in a small room. It's a bit further away, yada yada. But it's, I don't know, it's just awkward. I don't like the feel of the map or the point. And out here on the nose, to get out here on this side of the point, you need to go through a pretty small choke here. That's fine, whatever. You can even go on the outside here and go around like that. That's fine. But to actually go onto the ship, you need to cross a small choke. If they have a flex support, or sorry, flex DPS, or someone that is good close range and tries to hold that, and you're trying to flank as a DPS, because the majority of the team will go on the other side. Just a fair warning. When you try to flank here, as a hit scan, is awful. Just awful. Because you will never beat the close range person here if you just don't, I don't know, mechanically outskill the person to a very high degree, which just not gonna happen in your own rank, at least if you're hard stuck. If you pick a close range character, sure, you can rat one person out there, but then you're on the point and you're far away from the rest of the enemy team.
So you need to either flank all the way around to the other side of the ship, or you need to cross across point. The thing you can do, you can bait point. That's kind of it, and then you can use the two pillars that are next to the point on that side to hide behind, kind of. But you will not actually apply any real pressure other than point pressure, which is why I bump it up a bit, because that's like something you can do, but it feels awkward. It doesn't feel that nice, you know? Like the range for when you get through the choke is medium to longer range, but you have to be good close range to actually get through there if they have these somewhat decent, you know, setup and map control. I think it's good for the first fight, and after that, this point is just, I don't know, it's not that good. But yeah, D tier seems fine here. The last point is labs. I actually do not have much issues with this map. I started off in C tier, but as later on as I explain it, because again, this is unfiltered. I have not deeply thought about anything about this, so I might bump it up talking about it. But it's like on the outside here, you can flank, and it's also good with a longer range, so you can take advantage of that. It has a ramp on the point. It has a high ground above point, which is good to control or have control over, but it's not good to stand on because, I mean, crossfires from the flank out here. But it's like, it's good space to utilize when needed. It's really good to have control over the space, but it's not good to stand on the space. I'm actually gonna bump it up to a B tier because I genuinely I like it. I'm gonna be completely honest, I like it. Overall, as a map, Antarctica Peninsula, it's D tier. And the thing is, if you lose both points and you have to play these points, it's F tier. Guaranteed. But if you get this point one time, I genuinely think that like it bumps it up a little bit. But yeah, then it would be D tier. But these points are so bad, especially sub-level. Especially sub-level. So shit that I put it in D tier overall. But yeah, I'm happy with it in D tier. Okay, next map, Busan. So Busan, I'm actually gonna say that I quite enjoy overall. Now, there are some problems. I would say some problems with each point. For example, Mecha Base feels like you're getting choked out by a 300-pound man with just pure muscles. The thing is, people don't know you can do this, but you can actually go below everything and wrap around. Because, you know, here in Mecha Base, I will show you guys. Okay, so hopefully we get Mecha Base first try. I'll have to redo or pick another point. Okay, we got Sanctuary first. No worries. Okay, Sanctuary. The best space to fight for. People say, oh, you know, get the pointer and you can hide and use the drum set. No. The most oppressive part of the map is this drum room. If you control the drum room, you will win 70% of your games on this map. Guaranteed. Why? Because you have great cover, you can see the point, you can shoot the enemy from whichever side you are at, you can deepen your flank, you can disengage if they push in and overcommit, and you can wrap around and you're safe, and you can even back around and just back here and keep applying pressure, yada yada. Just go back here, a mega over here that you can use as well. And it's like, this is by far the most important space off the map to control. Then we also have this side over here, very open, good for hit scans, character with range. It's also somewhat good to stand over here. You have cover, you can again shoot at the drum room, shoot at the point. But in general, I wouldn't say that you can, I mean, it's kind of awkward to deepen your flank here. And there's like, there won't be many people that would be positioned over here. Because the drum room, again, it's also the verticality of being here. Having some sort of vertical viewpoint above the point is really helpful. Really helpful, because, I mean, you can use the verticality as cover as well to take less damage. You can back off. This is not as much verticality. It's way more open. You don't really have as great cover options. But yeah, it's good to use this flank as well. But, I mean, as a team rotation, you would never go here, for example. I think the drum room, again, best part of the map to control. I think that not many people know that, but a lot of teams start the fights up over here. Different comps are good at controlling this, and different points are just better off you know, spreading out a bit more. I would say this point overall, it's very hard to clear this drum room if you have a bad comp for it. So you kind of have to, you know, bait them out or try to poke. That's the only problem with the map, that drum room is a bit too powerful. Because even if you poke them out to try to bait point, they're gonna have the advantage of having cover and watching the point, and also like a good angle. They can engage here, they can engage here, disengage all the other places that I showed earlier. Let's settle for a simple beat here. It is good, I like it, but it's not the best. We'll settle for a beat here. I think that's fair. Do I like it more than labs? Actually don't think I do. I think I like labs a bit more. Mecha base. You have these walls that go up and down. You see? They actually don't stay down for that long. They're actually staying up more or longer time than they stay down. Either way, we can go over here. Here's the first option that most teams roll out through. So they go from spawn and they rush through up here. Most of the teams will do this rotation and then they will either go here or they will go here. But more realistically, you will go over here because you want wider view of the point. And if someone is going on this side, you have more cover and you're further away, so they will do less damage to you. So it's, you know, just more optimal to start off on the right side. This space up here, I think the first fight is fine. It's kind of nice. But as soon as somebody caps the point, this is dreadful to push. Absolutely dreadful to push. And on this side, again, if they have somewhat decent control, this side is also dreadful to push. But I will tell you guys a little secret. You know this route that only people take when it's overtime or when they're trying to make it to the point to stall? You can do this to rotate against an enemy team. Either to apply point pressure, or you can use this point to wrap around from behind and pincer on this side. So what I mean by that is you don't rotate with your whole team, but you can go here to clear someone out from this left side, because usually people will commit more to this right side, and you can clear the people that are controlling this side out from here. If they're hit scans and they're standing here, yes, it will be a little bit harder, but I mean, you should be able to wrap around here, you clear them out or apply a little bit of pressure so your team can push through, and then you made it through the choke. The most important thing is actually making it through one of the doors so you can start your fight, because just trading and holding in this choke is awful. Same for the left side if they have good control. It is just awful to walk through. So a really good tip that I have for you guys is you can apply pressure from down here. Now, this will be harder for a hit scan, of course. Characters that are better close range will have a better time, easier time. You can actually go here as well as a hit scan, but then you need to, you know, wrap around maybe over here, and then you kind of need to get behind them. And then if you manage to get over here, but again, like, you don't have much mobility. This is why the point is a bit it's kind of you know, really hard to push through. It's awful for hit scans to push through when the other team has control over it. It's really nice once you have pushed through. Once you have pushed through, this is actually really good for hit scans. It's good to control over here. It's good control on high ground over here as well. But until then, it is awful for you guys. So for hit scan players, I feel for you. I feel for you. It is not nice at all. So that makes the map fundamentally kind of shit. But just because you have this option, it doesn't put it in F tier. Because you can do something about it, just really, really hard. So I'm actually gonna stay in D tier with this map. So it's in D tier. It can stay in front of Icebreaker, I think. This point, I would say that I like. However, this is the opposite of Mecha Base, because this is horrible for flankers. Okay, so sure, you have this route over here that is like okay, and you can avoid the high ground. However, there is not really any way unless you have vertical mobility to get to this high ground, and this is really oppressive with Widowmakers. This is really oppressive. Same with up here, because you can stand up here with Widowmaker, and if you can manage to get this rotation, you see how much you can see of the map. You can literally see everything of the map besides, you know, the things that are above of you. So it's only this lane over here that you cannot see. Either way, just for that alone, this map is F tier. However, we'll go through the other things that makes it up for it. And so you have tiny high ground. You can challenge the widow from like a slight angle there, like it's can, sure. You can rotate around here. You have a mega. You are pretty safe in here. But then it's like, okay, you're safe in here, but where do you go next? You go outside, you face a hit skin or something, you die. You need to flank over here. Okay, cool. Yeah, right. Okay. Where do you go from here? Maybe over here. I don't know. It's a little bit better, but again, then they hold above the point over here, and then you die. You try to rotate all the way around, but then it's too late because it takes too long, so your team is probably dead. So it's just not nice. But it's good to force people out that are holding, you know, these buildings, kind of. But if they hold up here, again, if they hold up here, you're kind of just, you need vertical mobility. And when you need vertical mobility, or it limits what you can do with non-vertical mobility, I tend to dislike the map a little bit. Now, the other option that you can do is you can use this side. And going on this side allows you to get to point without taking any crossfires or anything like that over here, which is nice. You have cover, you have the roof over here, and then you can get some point pressure. The only problem is if they are having good control over this point. This is kind of like the point on Antarctica labs. This high ground is kind of like the labs. It's good to control, but it's not super good to stand on because you're kind of exposed. But it's really good to control this just because it's above point. You can force people to stand over here, and then maybe your team can push in and shoot at them because they're exposed. You have this health pack over here. You can dance around as a tracer, for example. Even if you're rotating as a team, as a hit scan, you can, if a fight is going on point, you can use this side to get a bit of a longer sight line to shoot people around. Maybe a cheeky railgun shot. Ooh, they're dead. So this flanker option or flanker route to break through the choke, because I haven't talked about the main choke here. The reason for that is it is awful. It is absolute dog shit. They have control over there. You push through here, you can get crossfire from right side, from left side, from above or here, above or here. It is awful. I would suggest to only push through here if you see if some, like, you can punish someone. And yeah, even then it's not that great. Not that great. You either want to rotate on left side or right side. You want to have a split at least. Like, sure, someone can go through main. Fine. But you need to have a split. Or, you know, rotate your whole team one side. But you wouldn't really want your whole team to be over here, because then, I mean, you're just further away from the point, and they can set up a round point and they can mess you up. So if you're going with the full team, you should go on this side, realistically. But then you run the risk of getting booped off as well. Because, you know, this. But I like boost because I play Lucio, so, you know, I'm not gonna hate on that. Either way, with all that in mind, I think definitely that this point is better than Mecha Base for the general player base. I will actually put this in C play, or C tier. I can play them, but I'd rather not. So if I have Sanctuary and Downtown, I'm happy. Mecha Base is, here's the thing. I have fun in Mecha Base because of the heroes that I play. And that's what bumps it up. Bottom of C tier for me personally. But I feel for hitscan players, and because of that, it cannot be higher than the lower side of C tier. Busan Downtown is high C tier. Busan Mecha Base, low C tier. Moving on. Ilios. Lighthouse. A tier. Lighthouse is an A tier map because you can control the point, hold it, and bunker up. And it's actually pretty fun if you have a team that can do that. You can bunker up on point. Sure, they can take angles on you, but if you play it correctly, you can just play point, get X amount of time on it, like the London Spitfire did when they played this point, and they can win purely by objective, and that's pretty funny. But also, there are perceived high ground, so it is really difficult to do or to execute if the enemy team is good at positioning and taking advantage of it. It's a good map for Ana players. It's a good map for Lucio players. It's a good map for Ashe. It's a good map for Vendetta, Reaper, whatever. Like, it's good for a mix of characters. And that's why I like it. The options that you have available makes me want to vote this an A tier. I think it's an A tier, definitely. I like it. Now, Ruins, I'm putting it B tier, but at the end of B tier. It's not as good as Sanctuary. Now, let me explain why. So,
Widowmakers.
I do not enjoy playing against Widowmakers. I like it sometimes when I play Lucio and I dive in, but if I don't get the kills or somebody is, controlling me or like marking me so I can't go for her, then I'm not gonna get the value that is desired. Either way, Ruins, B tier, bottom of B tier. It's really fun to play ball on the map or on that point, especially if you have a Sombra on your team and you can hack the health pack next to this statue. Ilios, well, now this point, macro-wise, I think that this is an amazing point, fundamentally wise. And I will explain why. So fundamentally wise, why this point is brilliant is because on one side of the well, you have this closed room. You can approach here like from flankers, but you can also hold it on the high grounds if you're a hit scan. But it's a tighter room, so again, like the flankers like it. There's a small health pack that you can utilize. Right side, you have the inside of the point, again with the flankers, yada yada, but you also have the high ground above it, where the hit scans love to play, but it's also easy to access and dive for vertical mobility characters. Some characters doesn't have that great of mobility vertically, like Tracer can blink from top right from their side of the well to that side, to the outside over there. So you don't necessarily need vertical mobility. You can use other means to get up there. And yeah, macro-wise, I think it's a great point. One major issue, or a fun thing, because I like to play Lucio, it all depends. The well. The thing is, I love playing Lucio here and booping people down the well. Of course, it makes sense. However, I do not love watching my brain-dead tank get hooked by the enemy hog time and time again, and then they're too scared to actually push onto point or give some sort of point pressure, that they just control us from different angles above here because we have a stupid tank that is just standing over here and not doing anything productive for their team. They try to push over here, but it doesn't matter because, they have the high ground above here and then it's suppressive, yada yada. So macro-wise, if people know how to play the game, it is a fantastic point. But fun-wise, most of the times, if I'm not on Lucio, I do not enjoy this point that much because of people being kind of stupid. I'm gonna have to put it in C tier. It's definitely above Mecha Base. It's definitely below Downtown. Not far below Downtown, but it's definitely below. So it has a nice fit here. Moving on to one of, if not my favorite control point or control map, Lijiang Tower. This is one of the GOATs. I am telling you immediately. This has been through thick and thin, and it has been consistently banger after banger. Okay? Control center. This is the weakest out of the 3 points, in my opinion, and it's still high B tier. You can utilize the outside of the point. You know which side I'm talking about, the outside of the point. You can flank there. You can use it to flank and access backline. You can use it for your hit scans that like playing there. And you can boop people off. And I like booping people, so I like it. You can also play on the inside. I will go and show you real quick. You know the main route that people take out of spawn. 90% of people go through here. Now, this is congested, it's oppressive, it is not fun if you run into like a Junkrat that just spams you, for example, or a Hunter that just spams you, or anything that spams you. I hate spam. Either way, you have the option to rotate around here and play on the outside for a slightly longer range. For example, if you play Domina and you push up here, I don't know what you're really doing unless you're running like full spam comp and you can abuse the shit out of that to make the brawl team, or the team that is probably gonna beat you in the brawl phase of the fight, run away. But you can just fine, like you can play here just fine. Use this as cover, use this as cover, and you have a bit of a crossfire going on. Maybe some of your teammates can go on this side and flank over here instead from spawn, and they can play over here. You also have this nice little high ground here. It's not big, so it's super oppressive. It's just a small little thing. So it's niche, but it's effective when it's in play, which I like. It shouldn't be bigger than this. You can use this outside for hit scans, as I said earlier. You can pew pew pang pang. The hit scans can also play over here. Pew pew pang pang. Usually don't want to play over here because it's, you know, closer range. Pew pew pang pang of the people that are most likely gonna be positioned up here. This is the most used space of the map, I would say, in general. But yeah, you can flank over there. You can flank over here. You have different lanes, different paths you can take. You have this small little high ground over here that is niche but not too powerful. And then once you win a fight, you want to control this choke and kind of have someone controlling this choke, and you should be fine. Now, there is a niche way to get around this by going over here, but again, you can get booped off. You need somewhat vertical mobility unless you're playing like, again, Tracer. You can blink and get across here, for example. It's oppressive to hold, trying to push in against the team here all by yourself, or like if the team is only going here, you kind of need to split up. Other than that, I think that this point is actually pretty great. You can utilize this long sightline, as I said earlier, not only to poke over here, but to poke, you know, if there have any backliners that are standing back here, you can apply some pressure there as well. So even though it's quite congested and it's better for close range heroes, I think that it's more generous to hit scans that than they believe. It's just that they keep pushing inside here, so they feel like the point is dog shit. One thing that every player should know: most KOTH maps are better for faster paced heroes that are a bit better close range, but also that most hybrid and payload maps have either longer sightlines or more high ground. So if you control the high grounds, the longer sightline characters have the advantage over you. So don't cry about it. I think that justifies my B. I like it. It's not quite great, but I think it's good. Now, Legion Garden. Lovely map. You can use the infamous TP on top here. You can rotate and play around on the outside. It's very fun to boop. It is very fun to boop. Also, you can flank on the other side of the map in the closed rooms. Sure, the rooms are closed, so if you run into someone that is controlling, that are good at controlling closed spaces, it's not fun for hit scans, but you have high ground, so you can use, not really relevant if the enemy team plays point, but you can use that to rotate around to avoid some pressure, and you can shoot from different angles and kind of surround them, because the map is kind of small. The map feels small, at least. It's similar to Lighthouse in that matter, that you can control point very well, but you have angles that you can take. I just think that Lighthouse is way more open and better options like high grounds and such that you can take around the point. So I think Lighthouse is a bit better than Garden. No, wait. Garden, why is this picture from... This picture is from Night Market. That's why I got confused. No, the point I was talking about was Night Market. I am very sorry. Legion Garden. Macro-wise, I don't think Legion Garden is that good of a map, because you only really have two lanes that you can push, the right side or the left side, because going across you kind of need a TP or someone with somewhat of a movement ability to go and just push through in the middle. but it's also really easy to get booped and hooked, so it's risky to do that. So macro-wise, it's not the best, but fun-wise, holy shit, it is so fun. And I'm putting this up here because it is really fun. Not because it's a fundamental masterpiece, but because I genuinely think that this is one of the most fun points to play on. I don't know, it just doesn't bother me. The vibes are always good here. Really fun. That's why it's up here. Now, Nepal is the next map. Let me tell you, Nepal has some of the most disgusting points after you've taken control over them for the enemy team to try and break through. Now let me explain. I will take Shrine as an example. You know, as I said on Busan Sanctuary, the drum room is the most important space to control, and usually you don't want to stay on point. Nepal Shrine is completely different. It is good to control the point, and it's also the best space on the map to hold. I am not even kidding you, because you have such good cover. The high grounds that you can use on these sides, or on these sides, the high grounds that you can use there and abuse are not as oppressive as you would like, because you can use so much cover with the pillar and everything like that on the point. The pillar in the middle of the point makes that high ground not super strong. If there was no pillar in the middle, it wouldn't be as strong to hold point, but it's there, so it is. You can set up like turret form and bunker form. You can poke and play on the outside here and make it super hard to deal with them or trying to push in on the outside. So here on Shrine, it is so difficult to push through. It is so difficult. However, the map in itself, I think they are fun. I think that they are really fun. At least Shrine. Because Shrine, you can go below also. You don't need to use the high ground. And you have closer range and you can speed on to the point or just shoot from the high ground to apply some pressure up here. You kind of need to control a bit of the left side here to shoot from high ground, maybe from the low ground, but also from the left side of the way. It's good to have some control over there before you actually push onto the point, because trying to push from the outside or just from main is awful. Usually what people do is they go main or they go from the outside. They split up and try to deal with some of those two angles. But really, this left side is what you need to control to actually force them to be on the outside and to approach them from this side. It's not a complete map flip, but it's more like a map 90 degrees rotation. So instead of going from this side to this side, you go from the outside to the inside or / high ground space, and you try to force the fight this way. That makes this point, playable or kind of nice to force people away. So that's how I see the point. Okay, fundamentally wise, I think that this point is good. Fun wise, I think that it's good for me, but I can see how people don't like it. I'm gonna put it above Control Center. Nepal Sanctum. It is fun for me on Lucio. Other than that, it's kind of like Mecha Base. It's even harder to break through. I think that it's in the bottom of C tier. Because it's so similar to Mecha Base with, you have you have a right side, you have a left side, but it's close. It's not nice for hit scans. I think it's at the bottom of C tier. I don't think it's that good. And again, first fight is so important and it's so difficult to break through. So C, bottom of C. Nepal Village. This one is interesting. There is the outside here that is barely utilized because it's not that good, but it can be good and powerful if you use it correctly. And that is because most people position themselves on this bridge. What you should do when you're controlling this point most of the times is that you should control this bridge, see where the enemy is going, and position accordingly. If they go through main and try to go straight to point, you can position yourself to apply pressure and surround the point and make it hard for them to push there. If they're trying to push left side, you can just hold the left side and it's super hard to push through because they need to push through a small choke, and you have the advantage with different angles that you shoot through or towards that angle. So it's really hard for them. But I think that this has more potential. It's just that people don't utilize this outside. It's just that it requires some heroes with verticality to actually use the outside here. So potential wise, I think it's better than Mecha Base. It's better than Sanctum. It's similar to Ilios in that level. The thing that it holds above Ilios is that it's cool to hold point and bunker up. I do that sometimes when I play Reinhardt. It's really fun. You can do that with Mei, for example. Symmetra, hold it down. I would say, in my personal opinion, it's better than Downtown because Widowmakers are usually strong at this point. Oasis. Let's start with University. This point is interesting because you can actually walk underneath the point, which, if I think correctly, I think this is the only point in the whole game, besides maybe Samoa Volcano, but it has like a bounce pad where you can actually utilize the space underneath the point. I think that space of the map is interesting, and if you can definitely utilize that to flank, especially now with the the thing is, because there is a cat in the game, a lot of rotations are now possible that shouldn't be possible. So you have to think about that. I have to think of that with everything, man. But I'm just going to go with the presumption that the cat is banned. The cat is banned every game, okay? University, I think, is interesting. It has potential. Definitely better than Sanctum. Definitely better than Mecha Base. You can play on the close range here. You can play on the outside. You can get boobs. Hee funny. Yeah, you can hold high ground as well and with the hit scans if you are closer to the windows that are closer to points. Of course, you won't get booped down from there unless you get charged Doom Punch where he tries to trick shot you and jump from point or from this side to jump on top of you. But other than that, you should be fine over there. You can play and push point as well. It's just that if you have control of the point, there are only two paths you can take. And if you try to go below, the enemy team will see that you're trying to go below. And that is why it is not the best, but it's also good for visual aggro. Like they get scared because they see someone is there. And they're like, oh shit, we kind of have to deal with that at some point. And you can force point and then you can run away. So just for that, it's kind of like, it's similar to Mecha Base with a, path below to get to point. It's just that it's not that fast. In Mecha Base is actually at least fast, but here it actually takes a bit of time to get there. I'm going to put it below well, and we're gonna move on. I'm not gonna go any deeper into that. Oasis City Center. I think that this point is interesting. You can avoid the high ground entirely. The high ground is super oppressive, so it's really good control. But you can avoid the high ground entirely if you play on the other side of the map. Utilize the little house thing in the middle of point to stay hidden from it and use it as cover. And you can use multiple routes to wrap around and confuse the enemy. And you can boop people into cars. I think it's personally pretty fun. It's just that a lot of teammates are stupid. They don't know how to utilize it. But honestly, I think that it's fun, and that's why I want to put it in A. Macro-wise, it's not super great, but it's also great because, you can avoid things that are oppressive if you play the right position. I'm going to put it at the bottom of A tier. Great maps. Purely because of the level of fun I usually have on it. It's just that a lot of times people can kind of spawn camp you if they have control over you. And it's really hard to push through on the right side. And against hit scan comms, it's really annoying. That's why I can't put it. That's actually, you know what? Fair point. Top of B tier. It cannot be A tier purely because of that reason. Going over to Gardens. Oasis Gardens. Not Legion. Oh, you are not on the same level, let me tell you that much. You're not even going to look at each other because you are definitely B tier or below. Gardens. You can play on the high ground above here. That's nice. Cool. You can flank through here. You can flank below and apply point pressure. Kind of like Mecha Base, yada yada. I will use this as an example multiple times. It's kind of oppressive, but Oasis Gardens, I think that because you can boop down on the outside. I have pinned multiple people off on the other side of the map. I think that it's wide, but it also has these close rooms. On point, it's pretty close. You can play Pharah here and have fun. You can play Hitscan here, you can have fun. I think that Gardens is actually a pretty damn decent point. I'm gonna put it above Ruins, not higher than that. I don't think it's better than Sanctuary. Is Garden better than Control Center? No, I don't think so. But it's here. It's B tier. I like it. I like it. Going on to Samoa. Let's speedrun this. Beach. I think that this point is A tier. Low A tier. Let me explain why. Because I know a lot of people are furious with this one. But let me explain. So, you have unutilized space on this side of the map. Now people are like, but Coach Jason, you can go up the stairs here and people usually do that. I'm not talking about that space, you stupid piece of shit. I'm talking about even further on the right side. You can utilize the rooms to make rotations around the enemy team. You can go below and you can apply point pressure from smaller chokes like there, like small little tunnels. Hit scans, love this outside here. You can boo people. I like it. I think that it's A tier. I think that to break through this point is not actually that difficult. You just need to wrap around because it's really hard once you have control of the point to control all the lanes because it's so wide. I think that it's A tier. I have fun playing this map, this point. Downtown. Now this is definitely the most divey point out of all the Samoa downtown because Samoa overall pretty flat. Lots of accessible stairs that you can use, and that's why I'm saying it's flat even though it has verticality. Downtown is an exception. You can stand on high ground above point. The one side of the map super high above point, you can utilize that, but again, it's similar to Control Center on Legion Tower. It's not too big and it's not too oppressive. I think that the one in Control Center is better because it doesn't have a giant ass pillar in the middle of the point. It has a small ass pillar in the middle of the point, and that makes it so you can actually utilize it a bit better, and you have an easier time getting away here than you have a Control Center if somebody jumps up onto you. But yeah, you can utilize that. You can utilize the other high ground on the other side that is a bit smaller here on the outside of the map. You can also get boobs, me like. For that reason, and for the reason that you can hold around point, you can hold further up as well. You can even wrap around and actually push in pretty deep to hold the enemy team almost inside spawn, depending on how they play, and you can wrap around and flank. There's a lot of flank potential. It's good for longer range as well. I think that overall, macro-wise, this is I think this is a great point. Actually, it's not better than City Center. It's not better than Shrine. It's not better than Sanctuary. I think that it's overall better than Control Center, I would say. Yeah, it's better than Control Center. Samoa Volcano. This has got to be the worst point of Samoa. It is close range. Most of my heroes love this map. But overall, I mean, it's just... I don't know. It's very oppressive because you can literally hold people in spawn and they, I mean, if you're good, they can't do anything. And I feel like a map like that is just, I don't know. It's kind of like Nepal Sanctum feel for me, but it's actually worse than Nepal Sanctum. No. It's actually one place better. Is it worse than Mecha Base, Jason? That's the question I'm asking myself. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not as good as University. It is better than Mecha Base though. Yeah, we're just gonna keep it there. The bounce pad in the middle is fun, I guess. There's a mega here, very high risk, high reward. Because right on the edge you could get pooped off. And yeah, that's why it's a bit more fun, I guess. But on the other side of the map where you actually want to push and actually want to control, people just don't understand how to utilize it. Oh, that was all the KOTH maps. Nice. Okay, so this has been my tier list so far. These are all the KOTH maps here. And we will jump into the payload maps now.
Whoa, slow down, cowboy. You know it's gonna be another video for that one. Yeah, payload is the next video that I will be posting, or the next tier list that I will be posting. Also, if you want to know why Paraiso is already in If Satan Was a Blizzard dev and wanted to create a map, here is a video from Spilo explaining why the map is as horrible as it is. That is about it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.